I'm Brian Tracy, and today I want to talk to you about the 5 success myths that may be limiting you from living your dream life. The first is believing that being rich, thin, and happy should be your ultimate goal. These are not goals, these are wishes and fantasies common to all mankind. A goal is like a beautiful home, carefully designed and revised continually, upgraded regularly, and worked on constantly. You need to be specific and have clarity about your goals. Most importantly, if it's not in writing, it's merely a dream or a wish, a vague objective with no energy behind it. The next myth is believing that you need to go to a 4-year university. I understand college is expensive, especially with the direction of our economy and the way the education system is going. As many of you know, I never attended college and barely graduated from high school. I joke around constantly that I was in the bottom half of the class that made the top half possible. So with the rising cost of college education, this topic has come into the limelight even more so over the past few years, with a lot of individuals who are wondering whether it makes sense to pay tens of thousands of dollars and sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars for college education, and whether or not it is really necessary in order to achieve success. But for some of us, we don't know what we want to do with our careers in the long term, and that's okay. I worked at odd jobs here and there, plenty of manual labor jobs before I ultimately discovered what I wanted to do for my career. The best thing you could do for yourself is not live your life based on what others think you should do, and do what you feel is best for yourself. Just because one person went to college and is successful does not mean that that is the only path to success. Determine what is best for you and your future goals, and then pursue that no matter what the journey looks like. Another myth about success is believing you need more money. We've heard these things before. If only I had more money, then I would be happier. Money is the root of all evil. It's as if little green pieces of paper somehow have intrinsic power to erect buildings, create computers, inspire students to read, make people happy, or worse, to corrupt people. The reality is that money has no intrinsic value whatsoever. People have intrinsic value, and money is nothing more than a representation of stored value. The more value you provide for others, the more currency will flow into your life. Focus on serving others rather than on money, and the money will flow to you naturally. Next, many of us believe that you have to want it to make it happen. Now, this is partially a myth. It is true that you have to have clarity and a burning desire for what you really want in life. Practicing the law of attraction is one of the most powerful techniques that you can use to become a successful person and to ensure desirable consequences and better results in your life. Your expectations become your own self-fulfilling prophecies. However, it's not enough to just want or expect success. The key to success is the willingness to initiate and take action. Don't wait for someone else to do something. Be action-oriented. Do something, do anything, but get busy, get going. Do something every single day that moves you in the direction of your most important goal at that moment. Develop the discipline of doing something 365 days each year that is moving you toward something that's important to you. You will be astonished at how much you can accomplish when you utilize this formula in your life every single day. The last myth is believing success is having it all. The 6-figure CEO job, the family, the beach houses, etc. As I mentioned earlier, many of us think that someone else's definition of success is valid for us. We often feel a little uneasy if we're not successful at doing something that someone else thinks we should be successful in. Many people allow their parents to influence their choices of career and find themselves miserable as a result. The fact is that life and success is very much like a smorgasbord. If 100 people went to a smorgasbord and each put food on their plates in the quantity and mix that each felt would be most pleasing to himself or herself, every single plate would be different. Even a husband and wife would go up to a smorgasbord and come back with different plates that look completely different over time. Success is the same thing. The success is composed of a great variety of ingredients: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Each person requires a particular combination of these ingredients in order to feel the very best about himself or herself in life. If you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable in teaching you how to become successful, share it with your friends or anyone else who might benefit from this information. Before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a thought to share with your friends and followers. It doesn't matter where you're coming from, all that really matters is where you're going. And where you're going is limited only by your own imagination. Now, I'd like to hear from you, so my question today is this. What limiting belief are you going to change to become successful? Leave a comment below and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thank you for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action, and take action now. If you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable in setting you up for success, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share this video with your friends, and click the button on the screen for a free gift. Thanks again for watching. Many years ago, I heard this wonderful little line. It said, "Feeling listless? Make a list." You see, when you have a list of things that you're working on, it suddenly energizes you. It's the most remarkable darn thing. Your mind, your ability to think and plan and decide is your most powerful tool for overcoming procrastination and increasing your productivity. Your ability to set your goals, to plan and take action on them steady, determines the course of your whole life. The very act of thinking and planning unlocks your mental powers. It triggers your creativity and it increases your mental and physical energies. It's absolutely amazing what goals will do for you. Your ability to plan well in advance of beginning your work is a measure of your overall competence. The better the plan you have, the easier it is for you to overcome procrastination, to get started, and then to keep going. One of your top goals at work should be for you to get the highest possible return on your investment of mental, emotional, and physical energy. The good news is that every minute spent in planning saves as many as 10 minutes in execution. It only takes about 10 or 12 minutes for you to plan out your day, but this small investment of time will save you at least 2 hours, 100 to 120 minutes in wasted time and diffused effort throughout the day. When you consider how helpful planning can be in increasing your productivity and performance, it's amazing how few people practice it every single day. And planning is really quite simple to do. All you need is a piece of paper and a pen. The most sophisticated time management system, Palm Pilot, Outlook, computer program on time management is based on the same principle. It's based on you sitting down and making a to-do list of everything you have to do before you begin. Rule: always work from a list. You'll increase your productivity by 25% or more from the very first day that you start to work from a list. When something new comes up, write it on your list and then stroke it off as you get it done. Make out your list the night before at the end of the workday. Move everything that you have not yet accomplished onto your list for the coming day, and then add everything you have to do the next day to the list. You see, what happens when you make out your list the evening or the night before, your subconscious mind works on your list all night long while you sleep. Often, you will wake up with great ideas and insights that you can use to get your job done faster and better than you had initially thought. The more time you take to make written lists of everything you have to do in advance, the more effective and efficient and productive, and ultimately, the more highly paid you will be. Now, there are different lists that you need for different purposes. First, you should create a master list in which you write down everything you can think of that you want to do for the indefinite future. This is a place where you capture every idea that comes to you, every new task or responsibility that comes up. You can then sort them out later. Second, you should have a monthly list that you make up at the end of the month for the month ahead. This may contain items transferred from your master list. Third, you should have a weekly list where you plan your entire week in advance. This is a list that is under construction as you go through the current week. And finally, you transfer items from your monthly and weekly lists onto your daily list. These are the specific activities that you're going to accomplish that day. Now, as you work through the day, tick off the items on your list as you complete them. This activity gives you a visual picture of accomplishment. It generates a feeling of success and forward motion. Seeing yourself working progressively through your list motivates and energizes you. It raises your self-esteem and self-respect. Steady, visible progress propels you forward and helps you to overcome procrastination and get more stuff done faster. Final reason why you may be failing is because you don't use this SMART goal formula that many people do. If you've been watching my videos or reading my work, you know that SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Use this acronym to evaluate every goal you set. Make it your North Star on which you set your compass. If you don't have a clear plan and the discipline to follow that plan, you're doomed to repeat the same cycle over and over again. But you can break this routine and use SMART goals so that you can reach your goals as quickly and as efficiently as possible. The holidays are when you should think about your current blessings and the reasons you are truly grateful. Hello, I'm Brian Tracy. With the holiday season quickly approaching, I wanted to give you some tips on how to avoid overspending during this time of the year so that you can stay on track to reach your financial goals. Between all of the work events, social engagements, and upcoming holidays, it's easy to spend more than you anticipated if you don't have a clear-cut plan of action, and this can cause a lot of stress and strain on you financially once the season is over. Here are 3 things you can do before you make any purchases to ensure that you don't spend outside of your limits and still have a great holiday season. The first thing you should do is to set an overall budget for yourself. Ask yourself, how much can you reasonably afford to spend? Not what is the absolute maximum amount you can spend, but how much can you afford to spend without stretching yourself thin? The problem with the holidays is that people spend way more than they can reasonably afford and then are stuck in debt for several months, maybe even years after the season has ended. The holidays aren't about showing your love or gratitude for someone by putting yourself in a tough financial situation. So take a look at your current finances. Figure out the approximate cost of your monthly expenses and bills, then determine how much money you want to save. Remember, it's recommended that you save 10% of your income. Then you can attribute whatever is left over to gifts, plus what you saved specifically for gifts previously. Once you've set your overall budget, the next thing you'll want to do is to set budgets for each individual person on your list. Obviously, there will be some people who you spend more on, such as your kids, parents, or significant other. Once you've set a budget for those closest to you, then determine how much you can spend on everyone else. Remember, the holidays aren't just about giving and receiving gifts, so don't feel obligated to get one for every single person you know. Just because you work with Joe or Cindy doesn't mean that you have to get them a gift for the holidays. If you do feel obligated to get gifts for your coworkers, suggest doing some kind of gift exchange to your employer, or give them homemade presents. It's the thought that counts. The final thing you'll need to do to ensure that you don't overspend is to keep track of your spending. None of this budgeting will do you any good if you don't actually keep track of what you're spending to make sure you're staying within your budget. It's easy to become impulsive during this time of the year, and feel tempted to spend more than you budgeted for if you think you found the perfect gift. The key is to not get caught in that trap and to only purchase items that fit into your budget no matter what. Keep all of your receipts and enter them into a spreadsheet with all of your set budgets. There are plenty of mobile apps that you can use to stay on top of your spending. However you choose to do it, just make sure that you always know exactly how much you spent per person and overall so you don't go over budget. Before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a thought to share with your friends and followers. Here it is. The holidays are when you should think about your current blessings and the reasons you are truly grateful. Now, I'd love to hear from you. So my question today is, what other tips or strategies do you use to ensure you don't overspend during the holidays? Leave a comment below, and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action, and take action now. If you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable in teaching you how to budget for the holidays, subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends or anyone else who might benefit from this information. For more resources on how to improve your finances, visit my website, briantracy.com. Balancing work and family is one of the most important of all considerations in the way you organize your time and your life. And we start off with this critical principle. Number one is that your happiness should be your chief aim in life. Not somebody else's happiness, but your happiness. Your happiness shouldn't be second, it should be first. Because here's the rule. If ever you make somebody else's happiness or something else more important than your happiness, you may get that, but you won't ever be happy. Abraham Lincoln once said, the very best way to help the poor is not to become one of them. The very kindest thing that you can do for other people is to be happy yourself. And this brings us to point number two. Point number two is fully 85% of your happiness comes from your relationships with other people. Fully 85% of your happiness comes from your relationships. Now what this also means is that fully 85% of all your problems also come from your relationships with other people. And one of the primary reasons why we have problems in our relationships, especially the most important ones, is because we don't spend enough time and we don't spend the right quality and quantity of time with them, which we'll deal with in this session. So here's the starting point. Here's a good question. It's, how would you spend your time if you learned today that you only had 6 months to live? How would you spend your time if you learned today that you only had 6 months to live? We asked this question earlier in this course, but the second part of this is, with whom? Who would you spend the time with, predominantly? What would you want to do with that person? Where would you want to go? How would you want to spend it? What would you want to get accomplished if you learned today that you only had 6 months to live? You see, the answer to this question will bring you face to face with what is really important to you. Sometimes in our sessions we say, imagine that it wasn't 6 months, but it was 6 weeks. Or that it wasn't 6 weeks, but suddenly you learned it was 6 days, and then 6 hours, and then 60 minutes. If you learned this very moment that you only had 60 minutes left in life, what would you do and how would you spend your time? Who would you want to talk to? Who did you think about when you thought about that question? Because that tells you a lot about what's really important to you. And this brings us to number 4, which is one of two of the most famous of Greek sayings. The first one is moderation in all things. Moderation in all things is what the ancient Greeks said, and as a wise old man said, yes, but except for a few glorious exceptions. Moderation in all things means that you need balance between your work and your family life in order to be happy and in order to be successful. How can you tell when you're out of balance? You always experience being out of balance with stress, with anxiety, with irritation, with sleepless nights, with sometimes psychosomatic illnesses. Whenever you're out of balance in your life, you begin to feel it, and it begins to manifest itself in your relationships with other people. So the starting point of getting your life into balance, number 5, is to begin with your values. We talked about this before, but ask again. What are your values, and what is really important to you? What's really important to you? What do you really care about?
Because it's only when you absolutely know what's most important to you that you start to feel happy. And here's the rule. Either you run your life by determining what's important to you, organizing the sequence of events, or your life runs you. And many people today are frantic and they're unhappy, and they're anxious and they're tense for a very specific reason. And it's because their life is running them because they have not put their hands onto the steering wheel of their own life and they're not steering it. An important part of balance is for you to describe what is called the ideal end result, your ideal vision, or what we say, your ideal lifestyle. What is your ideal lifestyle? If you could live any kind of life that you wanted, what would it be? What would it include? What ingredients would make you the most happy? What ingredients would make you the most happy? Answering this question enables you to do what we call gap analysis. Gap analysis is where you look at your life today and you look at your life as it would be if it were perfect. And you look at the differences between where you are and where you want to be, and you ask yourself, what changes would you have to make to begin to create your ideal life, especially with regard to the most important people in your life?
It's astonishing, but most people spend 50% of their time, according to the statistics, time and motion, videotape of workplaces. They spend 50% of their time doing non-work related activities while they're in the office or at their place of work. Did you know that you could live your life by design or by accident, and that the choice is completely up to you? One of the most powerful tools that you can use to design your ideal lifestyle is called idealization. With idealization, you imagine that you could create a perfect life in every respect. Imagine that you have no limitations at all, and that you could be, do, or have anything that you wanted. Imagine that you have all the time and all the money, all the knowledge and all the skills, all the education, all the experience, and all the contacts and relationships that you need to achieve any goal you could set for yourself. Just imagine. Practice the magic wand technique. Imagine that you could wave a magic wand over any part of your life and make it perfect in every way. How would it be different from today? Start with your business, career, and income. If your business, career, and income were perfect in every way, how much would you be earning? What sort of work would you be doing? What level would you have achieved in your field? Who would you be working with, and where would you be doing your work? Most of all, if your work life was perfect, how would it be different from today? And what one step could you take immediately to begin creating a perfect work environment? The second area has to do with your family and relationships. If your personal lifestyle was ideal in every way, what would it look like? Where would you be living? And how would you be living there? What kind of home would you have? And what kind of activities would you enjoy with your family and relationships? What sort of vacations would you take? And what kind of amenities would you provide for people in your family? Remember, you can't hit a target that you can't see. Especially, what would you have to do differently starting today to create the perfect lifestyle? The third area of idealization has to do with your health and energy. If your health was perfect in every way, how would it be different from today? How much would you weigh? How much would you exercise? How would you look physically? What sort of diet would you follow? And especially, how would your levels of health, fitness, and energy be different from today? The final part of idealization has to do with your financial life. If your financial life was perfect, if you had lots of money in the bank and a healthy passive income from your investments, how much would you be earning each month and each year? Whatever your answers to these questions, write them down. Then, determine the specific actions starting today to make your ideals into reality. Now here's an exercise for you. Imagine waving a magic wand over your life and changing any part of your life for the better. What one great change would you like to bring about as soon as possible, and what one action could you take immediately to begin bringing about that change? In the next motivational moment, you will learn why and how you are truly remarkable. Successful people in every field, including sales, seem to have one quality or attitude in common. They are ambitious. They're hungry. They want more than they have today, and they're determined to get it. The more ambitious you are, the more driven and determined you will be to achieve your goals. Nothing will slow you down or stand in your way if you're ambitious enough. You will bounce back from every setback or temporary failure and keep on going until you win through. Ambitious people see themselves as capable of being the best. They commit to excellence. They know that the top 20% of salespeople make 80% of the sales, and they are determined to be among that top group. Ambitious salespeople are optimistic about their chances and possibilities. They're absolutely convinced that they can achieve their goals by selling lots and lots of their products and services, and they're completely determined to do it. Perhaps the most important step you take in the field of selling is the commitment to excellence. This is the commitment to be the best in your field. Resolve today that you are going to join the top 20% and then the top 10% in your industry in terms of earnings. Now here's something that changed my life when I was 28 years old. After going around in circles for years, it suddenly hit me. Everyone in the top 10% today started in the bottom 10%. Everyone who is doing well today was once doing poorly. Everybody who's at the front of the line of life started at the back of the line. Now let me ask you something. How do you get to the front of the buffet line of life where all the good stuff is waiting for you? And the answer is simple. It consists of two things. First, get in line. It's absolutely amazing the number of people who want to get to the front of the line of life and admire the people who are already at the front of the line, but they don't get up and get in line themselves. You get in line when you make an absolute decision to be the best in your field. And the second thing you have to do is to stay in line. Once you have decided to be the best in your field, get in line and stay in line. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. Keep developing one new skill or ability each day, each week, and each month that moves you ahead. And as sure as God made little green apples, you are going to get to the front of the line in your profession. There's nothing in the world that can stop you from becoming one of the best and highest paid people in sales if you'll just get in line and stay in line. Your job now is to get on track and stay on track, is to make this coming year a great year for you, no matter what has happened in the past or no matter what your current circumstances. Now, the greatest self-help book ever written in American history, 1895, was called Pushing to the Front by Orison Swett Marden, one of the great influencers who's influenced Dale Carnegie, Norman Vincent Peale, and Earl Nightingale, and myself, and many other people. They said his book, Pushing to the Front, brought America into the 21st century. And he was asked, what are the keys to success? And he said there's really two keys to success. One is get-to-ativeness, and the other is stick-to-ativeness. And what I do when I teach is I say, really the two keys to success are very simple, is get going and keep going. So how do you get going and keep going? I want to give you a 7-part formula that you can use for the rest of your career, and you can use starting on January 1st, day one. Number one is get up early each morning, 2 hours before you have to be at work or somewhere else, and invest the first hour in yourself. Read something inspirational or educational or motivational. Is think about your day, think about what you're going to accomplish. We say that the first hour is the rudder of the day. And people who get up in the morning and plan their day in advance accomplish 10 times as much as people who don't. Number two is to write out your goals in the present tense, once again in a spiral notebook, without looking back. Every day, take out your spiral notebook and write down your 10 goals in the present tense. I earned this amount in this year. I weigh this number of pounds. I run this number of miles each day. I make this number of sales. I drive this type of car. Write down at least 10 goals every single day, and then turn the page and don't look back. Next day, write down 10 goals. What happens is these goals start to crystallize, and you start to repeat them, and you start to refine them, and then you start to attract into your life opportunities to make them possible. The third step is to plan every day in advance. Make a list of everything you have to do in that day and set priorities on your list. Decide what's more important and what's less important. Step number 4 is to get started on your most important task and concentrate single-mindedly on that one task until it's complete. This alone will increase your productivity, performance, and output by 50 to 100% the very first day you do it. Select your number one task and get started. Step number 5 is listen to educational audio programs in your car or on your iPod or on your iPhone. Continually fill your mind with new ideas that can help you to get better results. Don't engage in chewing gum for the ears, driving around listening to radio music and talk shows, which is just a waste of mental time. Just listen to material that educates you and trains you and uplifts you and makes you a better person. The cumulative effect is extraordinary. Number 6 is dedicate yourself to lifelong learning. Become a student of your craft. Make a decision to be one of the best people in your field and work on becoming better every single day. And step number 7 is treat everybody you meet like $1 million customer. Treat everybody you meet like they're the most important person in the world, because each person thinks that they are. And if you acknowledge it, they'll think that you're a remarkable and perspicacious person. If you're in sales, it's the number one key to sales success is to treat people with fondness and respect as if they are really important. Now, if you do all these things, not only will you have complete control of your life, not only will you get started and keep going, but you'll feel wonderful about yourself all day long, and you will make 2012 the greatest year of your life. Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and today I want to talk to you about ways to make yourself indispensable at work. They say there are never any traffic jams on the extra mile. Take pride in the work that you deliver and learn how to improve efficiency at work. You know, I used to say that when you get a job, make yourself valuable, make yourself very valuable, and then make yourself indispensable so that they can't work without you. This is the key to success. A little job security never hurts, especially during uncertain times. But remaining employed through tough times might seem like a daunting task. So how can you give yourself the very best chance possible to be a permanent employee? Use these 5 proven strategies to make yourself indispensable at work. The first way to make yourself indispensable at work is to focus on continuous learning. Continuous learning is the secret to personal growth and personal success. Through continuous learning, you will continue to evolve, providing more and more value to your company. Your job security will increase as you become more proficient in what you do, and you'll also start to earn more as a result of your improved skill set. Think about some topics or areas where you'd like to improve your knowledge or skills. These could be specific industry-related topics such as electronic engineering, if you want to work in an IT job. Or you might choose more general areas like communication or negotiation. Whatever you want to learn, look for books, articles, and online courses to help you upgrade your skills in that area. You can also ask people in your life who have experience in these areas to mentor and to teach you. Continuous learning doesn't always have to be scheduled. It can also be spontaneous, happy in your day-to-day life. Make a point of saying yes to new experiences that will challenge and stretch you. These are forms of continuous learning as well. And the more you learn, the more you will earn. The more you learn, the more good work skills you'll develop. Second, show your leadership skills. Leadership is something that can't be automated or outsourced to a computer. That means that by increasing your leadership skills, you'll be truly invaluable at your work. Strong leadership skills are valuable no matter what industry you're in. So demonstrate your leadership skills by being enthusiastic and solution-oriented. Be proactive as you help brainstorm strategies for different projects. If something goes wrong, offer suggestions for how to fix it. Being a good communicator is also part of being a good leader too. It's important to learn how to improve communication at work. Make sure to encourage your teammates and listen to what they have to say. Another way to be indispensable at work is to be a team player. Employers want to hire people who are proven team players. So celebrate your teammates' successes. Stay out of office politics and focus on your work. Inspire your coworkers and keep the whole team motivated and moving forward. Employees who pull the entire team up with them increase productivity and boost morale, which is crucial for positive company culture. Remember too, that being indispensable is not the same as being irreplaceable. You don't want to get stuck in your current position forever. You want to be able to move up, and proving that you're a team player is a great way to do so. The fourth way to become indispensable at work is to show your impact. Don't be afraid to share your knowledge and sell yourself. It's not effective to work in a silo, never speaking to coworkers and teammates. Instead, communicate with others in your company and be willing to market yourself if needed. This is a good place to utilize the principle of show, don't tell. Don't just share your big wins. Show how they impact your team, your business, and or your client for the better. If you made a big sale, talk about exactly how that sale is going to benefit the company as a whole. Don't play it up too big. You don't want to come across as arrogant. Just work to communicate the value that your work brings to the business. My fifth tip to make yourself indispensable at work is to understand your industry. But it's not always as simple as it sounds. Understanding your industry will help you to be more flexible. When you know your industry, you'll be more adaptable. You'll be able to pivot when needed, especially in times like this. The travel industry is a good example. This industry was hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic, and even when the world returns to normal, the industry will be changed forever. Those who work in the travel industry need to have their finger on its pulse, thinking ahead to how they will change with the industry. Finding ways to be adaptable within your industry and be okay with taking on different hours or tasks is crucial. If you're a flight attendant, this may mean flying routes and times you normally wouldn't choose, but raising your hand to take less than ideal shifts will make your boss want to keep you around. Finally, if you want to be indispensable at your work, go the extra mile. They say there are never any traffic jams on the extra mile. Take pride in the work that you deliver and learn how to improve efficiency at work. Go above and beyond by volunteering for extra tasks, helping solve problems, and always having a good attitude at work. Having an ownership mentality will help immensely. If you own the business you work for, what would you do differently? What would you expect from yourself? Would your performance look different than how it looks today? One of my favorite questions is, what kind of a business would my business be if everybody in it was just like me? Thinking about these questions can help you identify areas where you may want to shore up your efforts and put in some extra work. It's guaranteed to pay off. These strategies can help you to learn how to make yourself indispensable to a company. You can start by putting them into action with the Personal Development Plan template. This template will help you discover opportunities for success and take action to reach your goals. You're on the way to becoming truly indispensable to your company, and it's completely free. Now, I'd love to hear from you, so my question today is, how will you make yourself indispensable at work? Sometimes it's just one thing. Leave a comment below, and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action. recently sat down with Brendan Burchard, New York Times best-selling author of The Millionaire Messenger, to explain just that. In our 45-minute interview, we discussed everything from concept to completion of writing a book and becoming a published author. This includes everything from planning your book, organizing and writing your book, to publishing and even marketing it. Hundreds of people have paid thousands of dollars to learn these concepts, but now I'm giving you my step-by-step model for writing and publishing a book for free. The truth is, we all have a powerful message to share with the world that others can benefit from significantly. And equally as important are the benefits you receive when you become a published author. I'm not only referring to the personal benefit you'll gain in helping others, but also the financial benefits that result from becoming an author and an expert as well. So if you've ever considered writing a book to share your message with the world, or if you're ready to take your career status to the next level, this free interview is for you. Now is your chance to take an hour out of your day that can change your personal and professional life forever. Sign up below and watch the interview right now.
Hi, I'm Jack Canfield, and today I want to talk to you about your inner child and how it impacts your life. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to make peace with your inner child so you can begin to overcome your deepest blocks and finally show up as your best self. Your inner child is the part of you that was formed by the experiences you had in your childhood and has a powerful influence on how you show up in the world as an adult. If you find yourself engaging in self-destructive behavior or sabotaging yourself with negative self-talk or reacting too impulsively to situations with anger, frustration, jealousy, or fear, that is almost certainly a function of your wounded inner child acting out in anger or pain. And that's why it's so important to make peace with your inner child and heal whatever wounds you experienced as a child so you can overcome the blocks that have been holding you back from unlocking your full potential and become the person you're truly meant to be. First, let's talk about what your inner child is. Basically, it's your original state of innocence, the playful, inquisitive, sensitive child you once were. It's not about being childish and immature. It's about being childlike and experiencing the world in a state of wonder, in a state of curiosity. However, because your inner child is so sensitive, he or she can be easily wounded, especially when exposed to pain and trauma. We all know how painful and traumatic growing up can be. Even the people who love us most can say and do things that hurt us and impact our self-esteem. But the wounds that were inflicted on your inner child won't go away unless you acknowledge them and put in the time and effort to heal them. But most of us don't want to do that. Most of us are afraid to go back and revisit those experiences that hurt us deeply as children. So we tell ourselves to simply grow up and hide away our pain and pretend it never happened. And as a result, our inner child remains wounded, scared, and miserable inside of us, and causes us to act out in ways that prevent us from experiencing more happiness and more fulfillment in life. So today I'd like to teach you some ways to give your inner child what he or she needs to thrive so you can overcome your deepest blocks, unlock your ability to show up as your best self, and create the life you want. So the first step is to let your inner child know how much you love him or her, because all children need love. Now think back to who you were when you were 5, 6, or 8 years old. What did you love to do back then? What did you dream of? What did you hope for? What kind of person did you want to grow up to be? What experiences did you want to have? Well, that child is still a part of you, and he or she deserves all the unconditional love in the world. So make sure your inner child knows that. One simple way to do that is to simply look into a mirror every night before you go to bed and say, 3 things I love about you today are, and then fill in the blank. Or you can close your eyes, imagine what your inner child looks like, 4, 5, 6, or 7-year-old self, and imagine saying it to them. Now these are both simple but powerful practices. Something else all children need from the people around them is patience. Children are in a constant state of learning, and learning involves mistakes. Mistakes, you see, are a natural part of the learning process. So if you're ever angry or frustrated with yourself for the mistakes you've made in the far or recent past, or if you're upset with yourself for not being further along in your life or your career, practice being information and develop more new skills and more new relationships than you originally imagined would be needed. A couple of years ago, Patty Aubrey and I became aware that our online Train the Trainer program would be extremely valuable for people transitioning out of collegiate, professional, and Olympic sports careers because a large number of them want to be motivational speakers, trainers, and success coaches. Now, we've been working on that initiative for almost 2 years, and only just recently were we able, after a long learning curve and a lot of networking, to finally get in front of a large group of active and retired NFL players 2 days before the Super Bowl at the NFL Alumni Players Association meeting in Atlanta. So it took a long time to get from our original idea to where we are now. And we thought we'd get there faster, but we didn't. And just sometimes things just take as long as they take. Now, years ago, when I used to lead 10-day workshops, I would teach everyone to juggle 3 tennis balls. And the reason I did that is that most people would get upset at themselves every time they dropped the ball, which is a lot when you're just first learning. Now, we would practice it for 15 to 20 minutes a day, every day of the workshop. And in the first few days, people would say, I can't do this. It's too hard. I'm not good at sports. I'm not good at physical things. I'll never learn to do this. What's the point of this anyway? What does this have to do with being more successful in life? Every time they would drop a ball, they would say, damn it, or even worse words. Now, on the third day, I replaced the tennis balls with cubically shaped bean bags that wouldn't bounce out of their hands so easily and wouldn't roll away when they dropped them on the floor, demonstrating the principle of when you start something new, do it in baby steps and make it as easy as possible to be successful. Over time, everyone in that workshop learned to juggle. Now, little successes breed confidence, and that new confidence then leads to more success. Now, I also taught them to say, oh, what fun, every time they dropped the ball, instead of saying, damn it, or I can't do this, which is what most people were doing, replacing their negative self-talk with positive self-talk. And we also repeated the affirmation every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. You know, it's interesting, when I recently spoke with Mike Tyson, the former heavyweight champion of the world, who had won 42 fights in his career with 40 of them knockouts, he said that was the same affirmation he used every day as he was training for his boxing matches. Every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. Now, these are universal principles and practices that work. Now, I've also practiced using the phrase, oh, what fun, throughout my life whenever I make a mistake. When I was coming home from Thailand, where I spoke with Mike Tyson, I missed my tight connection in Tokyo because my jet lag was so strong that it led me to read my flight number 33 as the gate number on my ticket. I didn't beat myself up about it. I just said, oh, what fun, went to the nearest United service counter and was rebooked on a later flight to Chicago and then on to Los Angeles. Sure, I lost 12 hours due to that mistake, but so what? What good would it have done to beat myself up? None. Just like you, I'm human and I also make mistakes. Now, usually people that beat themselves up for not being perfect had parents who expected perfection from their children. And as adults, they've internalized those same expectations. I remember a participant in one of my seminars who graduated number 2 in her class from Caltech, which is an amazing accomplishment. But you know what her father said to her at graduation? In fact, it was the only thing he said the entire day. He said, why weren't you number 1? Now, when you internalize those kind of standards and expectations, you end up living in constant stress and constant anxiety, and seldom is anything you do ever good enough. And that can lead to a kind of obsessive perfectionism that no one wants to be around, and it can lead to not engaging in the kind of manageable risks that are required for success for fear of failing and not measuring up. Either result is not healthy or productive. That's important to heal these internalized childhood beliefs about what is enough. Right now, I'm writing a book with Dr. Lise Janelle from Montreal, Quebec in Canada, tentatively titled Unstuck. And it's a book on the Heart Freedom Method, which Lise developed. It is a powerful way to identify these internal beliefs and the childhood experiences that caused you to take them on. And I use the same method in my Breakthrough to Success seminars and my Train the Trainer programs, so you can learn how to use the method there, but also keep an eye out for the book when it comes out. If you're on my mailing list at jackcanfield.com, you'll be notified when it's published. Now, the next thing I encourage you to do is to give your inner child forgiveness. All of us at some point have felt shame, anger, or sadness over something we did or did not do in our lives. But the past is the past, and making mistakes is how you learn. So whatever horrible thing you think you did or failed to do, I want you to forgive yourself for doing it or not doing it. You were doing the best you could with the tools and knowledge you had at the time. It's okay to simply let that go now. Something else children need to do in order to thrive in life is to experience encouragement. Children need to know that someone believes in them and thinks they have what it takes to achieve their goals. So let your inner child know that he or she has the ability to accomplish anything he or she can imagine. Because it's true. If you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. You just have to go through the steps to make it happen and not give up along the way. That's why encouragement is so important. Now finally, the thing that all children need to thrive is the opportunity to play. Because that's how children learn, through play. By having fun and using their imagination and being curious about the world. So make sure your inner child has lots of opportunities to have fun in life. Pay attention to the things that fill you with delight and do more of them more often. Let joy be your GPS system that guides you and leads you in the direction of creating a life you love. Because when you do what you love, you'll never feel like you're working because you'll be having so much fun. So those are my tips on how to make peace with your inner child so you can enjoy showing up fully as your best self and make all your dreams come true. If you ever feel like you need help with healing your inner childhood wounds, I encourage you to take one of our trainings. Read our book on the Heart Freedom Method when it comes out, and also check out EFT or tapping as it's more commonly called. It's a powerful mind-body technique that allows you to connect with your inner child and heal the emotional wounds that have been holding you back. So just Google EFT or tapping therapy or search for information about it on my website where I have a book I've written called Tapping into Ultimate Success, and you'll find lots of good stuff to get you started. I'd like to hear your thoughts after watching this video. Have you been providing your inner child with the love, the patience, the forgiveness, the encouragement, and the opportunities for joy that it deserves? And if not, what steps will you now take to make that happen? And if you feel so inspired, please leave a comment below with your answer. I'd love to read what you have to say. So thanks for watching, and remember, nothing in your life will change for the better until you do. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure you like it, share it with a friend who may need it, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. And for some additional resources on how your inner child impacts your life, visit my website at jackcanfield.com. Thanks again for watching.
Excellence is not a destination. It is a continuous journey that never ends. Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and I want to wish you all a happy new year. If approached correctly from the start, 2017 has the potential to be your best year yet. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to set up yourself for success in the new year. The first strategy for long-term success, which I actually discussed in my last video, is to get closure on your previous year. If you need some assistance on how to do that, take a look at that video by clicking the link at the end of this video. Getting closure on your previous year is the first step because without this moment of self-reflection, it will be very difficult for you to determine where you're headed in the future and the reasons why you maybe didn't achieve all the goals you set for yourself in the previous year. Remember, the purpose of this self-reflection about 2016 isn't for you to feel badly or guilty about not fully accomplishing those goals. Really big goals take a long time to achieve. The point is to recognize where you are in the process so that you can make a plan for moving forward and stay on track. The next strategy is to make a new list of goals that you plan to accomplish in 2017. These goals can be the same as ones you didn't quite achieve last year, or they can be completely new ones based on the year you've had and the new decisions you've made about your future. The next strategy is to deploy what I like to call the 10-goal method. This is my favorite. Take a sheet of paper and write the words 2017 goals at the top with today's date. Then write down 10 goals that you would like to accomplish this year. Then use the magic wand technique and imagine that you have no limitations of any kind. Write down 10 things that you would like to be or have or do this year, as if each one of them were guaranteed to happen, as if you had no limits. So here are some guidelines for writing your goals. First, make sure you write them in the present tense, as if your goal had already been achieved. For example, instead of saying, I will earn X amount of dollars each year, write, I earn X dollars each year. The reason we do this is because your subconscious mind can only register commands that are phrased in the present tense. Next, write your goals in the positive sense. So instead of saying, I will quit smoking, you would write, I am a non-smoker. Finally, write your goals in the personal tense. In other words, all of your goals should start with the word I. This is the only way that your subconscious recognizes that this is a command coming from the head office, is when you say I plus an action verb in the positive sense. I earn X number of dollars this year. Now, after you've written your 10 goals following these guidelines, ask yourself this question. What one goal on this list, if I could achieve it right now, would have the greatest positive impact on my life? Whatever your answer to that question, circle that goal. This goal now becomes your major definite purpose, your primary goal, and your most important decision. The next step in the 10-goal method is to make a plan. Transfer your primary goal that you just established to a clean sheet of paper and set a deadline for completion of that goal. So you could write, I achieved this goal by this date. Make a list of the difficulties you will have to overcome, the additional information and skills that you will require, and the people whose cooperation you will need to achieve this goal. Organize this information into a plan, and then take action immediately to begin moving towards your destination. Any action is fine, but it's very important that as soon as you have your plan in place, you start right away on chipping away at the tasks you need to accomplish it. Finally, practice mind-storming on your goal. This process forces you to concentrate intensely on how to achieve your major definite purpose. Take a new sheet of paper and
write the goal down physically on paper, and it activates all your mental powers. It programs it into your hard drive, and then your subconscious works on it 24 hours a day until it's achieved. Once you write it down. Step number 3 is to set a deadline. Set a very clear, specific target to aim at. This acts like a forcing system for your subconscious and your superconscious minds, and what it does is it motivates and drives you forward to achieve that goal. So set a deadline. If it's a big enough goal, set sub-deadlines and break it down into parts, and then keep thinking about the deadline. Step number 4 is make a list. Make a list of everything that you can think of that you can do to achieve that goal. And keep writing until the list is complete. If you think of something new, write it on the list. There's something wonderful about breaking things down onto a list. Henry Ford once said the biggest goal in the world can be achieved if you just break it down into enough small steps. Some people ask the question, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer, of course, is one bite at a time. But you've got to divide it into bites. Step number 5 is to organize the list. How do you organize the list? You organize it in 2 ways. First, by sequence, is what is the order in which you have to do things. And second of all, by priority. What is more important, what is less important? And remember the 20-80 rule. The first 20% of things you do in the achievement of a goal usually account for 80% of the results that you get. Now you have a goal broken down by sequence and priority, and you have a plan. A person with a goal and a plan can accomplish extraordinary things, sometimes beyond their imagination. Step number 6 is take action. Do something. Move quickly. Do something immediately to achieve your goal. And step number 7, and this is the great one, do something every day. Do something every day that moves you towards your most important goal, whatever it happens to be. So here's the exercise, and this is what's going to make it all come to life for you. What you do is you make a list of 10 goals that you would like to achieve in the next year or so. Write them down on a piece of paper. This may take you about 3 to 5 minutes. It can change your life. Then you look over your list of goals and you say, if I could only achieve one goal on this list, which one goal would have the greatest positive impact on your life? Now, whatever that goal is, put a circle around it. This becomes your major definite purpose. This becomes your focal point. This becomes your point of concentration. And you can work on the other goals on the side, but this becomes the goal, and you do something all the time on this goal. You write it on a clean sheet of paper. You set a deadline. You make a list of everything you can do to achieve the goal. You organize the list by sequence and priority. You do something immediately, and then you do something every day. When you wake up in the morning, you think about the goal. And all day long, you think about the goal. And in the evening, you review the goal. And I can promise you this, if you follow the 7-part process, plus the 10 goal list, plus the selection of one key goal, your life will change in the most profound ways. You will start to make progress that is completely beyond your current imagination. So, what have you got to lose? Give it a try and see what happens. Hi, I'm Jack Canfield. Today I want to talk to you about how men and women communicate differently and how men can use this knowledge to improve their personal relationships. I like to say that men and women are equal but different. We are equally valuable to society, and we deserve to be treated with equal fairness and respect. And we deserve the same freedom to pursue and achieve our goals in life, whatever those goals may be. But just because men and women are equal, that doesn't mean we're the same. Research shows that men's and women's brains are actually wired differently, and that affects the way we show up in the world and how we communicate. For example, men tend to communicate more through their actions than their words. They want to build things and fix things and improve things. They want to prove how helpful they are. This behavior dates back to prehistoric times when men did most of the hunting and proved their worth by providing for their family. So when a woman tells a man about a problem, his immediate instinct is to fix it. He might offer her advice on how to solve the problem, or he might offer to just fix it for her and handle it totally for her. Or he might immediately spring into action and try to solve the problem himself. Now, this approach to communication can lead to problems because women don't necessarily want men to solve their problems for them, unless, of course, they ask for it. What they want is to be heard and understood when they're communicating about their problems and challenges. They want someone to listen to them and to be there for them emotionally. And so when a man wanting to be helpful automatically jumps in and tries to solve the woman's problem for her, it can send the wrong message. He he might inadvertently insult her by suggesting obvious solutions she's already tried or thought about. Or she might think he believes she's not capable of solving the problem on her own. And that can make her feel offended, hurt, or even angry. But the man wasn't trying to be insulting or dismissive. He just saw a problem and thought, I must help now. It's like waving a flag in front of a bull. A man sees a problem and he wants to fix it. It's built into our DNA. So women, if you find yourself getting irritated by men automatically jumping in to immediately solve whatever situation, problem, or challenge you want to talk about, remember, it's not a statement about you or your abilities. It's just men acting on their knee-jerk desire to fix whatever's broken. And then, I'd like to teach you 3 powerful words you can use every time a woman opens up to you about a challenging relationship, a problem at work, or any other challenge she's experiencing. Instead of automatically rushing in